Hello, listeners. Welcome back to another year of the Super League pod. Guys, it's been 3 months since we last all sat around together to talk properly about what's going on in Super League and beyond. So, yeah, it's good to be back, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, so much has happened. We've been to so many things. We've been out so much. It's just flown by.
Well, back when we were doing shows, Tim, you actually had been to like a sporting event, but then look what happened. The whole city got on super lockdown, and we all had to go super lockdown.
So it's Tim's fault, is what we're saying.
Basically, Tim going to watch Brentford is what caused the third wave.
I mean, imagine if that actually was the case.
We don't know it wasn't. I mean...
Yeah, because track and trace has not been a very efficient thing, so we don't know for sure. The keen-eared out there of you might have picked up on Alan, Tim, and Sarah, our returning, rotating co-hosts. The even keener-eared of you might have picked up on another voice in the mix there. And no, we have not gone all this week in league and brought back the original lineup, but we have added to our co-host base, popular recurring guest host, St. David is in the house. Hello, David.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you for inviting me to come and spend a bit more time chatting shit about Rugby League, which I love to do anyway.
Yeah, well, I felt like we needed someone on who was going to fall from their pinnacle of being double champions, and I wanted to watch that journey happen through the year, basically, David. Because your football side has already gone on that sort of nosedive, so I'm hoping your rugby league side might too.
No, I've got bad news for you, Mark. Usually what happens is either the football side or the rugby side's in great form, not usually both together. So given how crap Liverpool are, you can expect a three-peat this year.
Fair enough. Who wants to read out? David, we'll get you to read out the episode sponsor, seeing as you're new to the fold.
May as well earn my corn. So this episode is sponsored by Rob's Toy Shop. Find a wide range of toys, gifts, rugby league birthday cards and more at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Visit stores.ebay.co.uk/Rob's Toy Shop, and on any orders over £5 you can earn 5% cash back, and also 1% of your order value will go into the SLP coppers by putting SLP discount at the checkout.
Yeah, great to have Rob's Toy Shop's continued support for the show, and please do continue to support Rob's Toy Shop. I noticed they have make your own unicorn kits on sale. So for all those big dreamers out there, at this stage of the year, we're all dreaming that it's going to be a successful year. Well, we can all get a unicorn to go along with those misplaced beliefs that we have in our team's prospects this season. So a brief reintroduction to any of the SLP family returning for what is the eighth season of the Super League pod, and welcome on board to any new listeners as well. What we are is we are the fans podcast for Rugby League in the Northern Hemisphere, so we cover all fan opinions. We've got 5 of us here that will rotate through the shows during the year as we go along. Within that we have David, who we've established as a St Helens fan, Sarah, who's a Hull FC fan, Tim, who is rugby league nut, Tim G, as Dave was famously described him, but Tim, who is a Coventry Bears / Hull Kingston Rovers supporter, and Alan is a Bradford Bulls fan, hopefully a Bradford Bulls, not a Dewsbury Bulls fan as the year progresses. We'll see if that comes to pass. And myself, I'm a Wigan fan, so we've kind of got it all covered, and all 3 professional leagues covered as well by our fan-based insight, but of course we get lots of fan views in as well from you guys, the listeners. We get your match reviews in on each episode, and that shapes the conversation that we have. But in this particular episode, we'll be giving the results of the fan predictions that we've been running for the last month or so. We've counted them up. We'll be giving our own predictions as well, so how we fit into what the overall SLP family predicted. We'll do a brief team-by-team Super League preview too as well. What we'll do for that is we'll cover the teams in reverse order of where the aggregate fan predictions saw them finishing. So if your team sits somewhere that you don't like in that list, it's only your own faults for voting them to finish in those positions. But we'll see how that goes. But we'll now get into the predictions. So we're going to run through all the predictions now. We're going to give our own alongside revealing what the polls have come out with. We're going to go through all the categories we asked you about, and we're going to start with the first trophy that should be handed out this year, which will be the Challenge Cup, which of course will be handed out in Tim's backyard, Wembley Stadium. So hopefully
I can actually go there this year. I mean, I've got a ticket, but that doesn't rule anything out, does it?
No, I mean, if they think they're going to get a few thousand in for the FA Cup final when that's still in lockdown, or whatever version of lockdown we're calling it then hopefully with the Challenge Cup final being scheduled for July, you've got a good chance, Tim.
Fingers crossed.
Well, let's find out who the listeners out there think you will be watching play. So I'm going to give the top 5 in the voting here, because there was quite a lot of teams who got quite a good number of votes. So 5th in the ranking came Hull FC with 11% of the vote. 4th came in Ian Watson's Huddersfield with 13% of the vote. That would be a turn up. 3rd place in it was Warrington, 18% of the vote. Of course, they were the winners in 2019. 2nd most votes went to Wigan with 19% of the vote, so just a few votes more than Warrington there for the Wigan Warriors. And then the most, David, you'll be pleased to hear, with 25% of the votes, was St Helens. And David, you were the only person to predict St Helens wins the cup out of us lot. So why do you think Saints are going to win the cup?
To be honest, Mark, I'll tell you the absolute truth here. Other than the ones that I couldn't vote St Helens for, I just voted St Helens. There was no logic or deep, meaningful anything about it other than me just backing my boys.
Well, if it helps, I've gone the same. I predicted Wigan to win. I sat down, started to think about it, and I thought it's even more of a lottery here about what the sort of draws like and that sort of stuff, where your form's at when each round hits. So I'm just going to back my boys and say I'll pick what I want to happen, which is for Wigan to win. Sarah, you picked something that I guess you don't want to happen, because you picked Wigan to win as well. So what's your thinking there?
Well, my thinking is that we will only win either the Challenge Cup or the Grand Final this year.
Of course, it's always one or the other for Hull FC, isn't it?
Just rotating it through,
I aim too high, not just at the minute. So, for us to win the Grand Final, we need to let somebody else win the Challenge Cup. And I thought, you know something, Mark? You've not won anything for a little while, so
I mean, other than the League Leaders Shield last year, but I'll take it still. I'll take a cup win. I mean, we were like viciously denied the opportunity to win the Challenge Cup last time we were in the final by an appalling video refereeing call. So we know that, don't we, Sarah? We both equally share in that view. So
I have genuinely no recollection at all.
Alan and Tim, you both went for the same team. So, Alan, I'll let you give the first explanation on why you think this will be Wyre's year in the Cup.
Effectively, I thought they tend to have a very good pedigree in the Cup. They're a good Cup team, rather than having the kind of the tenacity and the kind of ability to kind of string a league campaign together. And I didn't want to predict a double winner. I just kind of went for a different team. So Warrington were my choice on that basis.
And Tim?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be clear-cut, but I just felt with the way the cup is structured, I think that would probably play into Warrington's hand, that they've got to play that less games, and for what's a relatively ageing side, they'll be able to get themselves up for a couple of games, but they won't have the extended strength for a league campaign.
Yeah, and as you were speaking, that I was thinking Greg Inglis. They're going to pick and choose when he plays, and that's an option for them. Yep, good stuff. Okay, into grand final winner. And we had a bit of a spoiler there from Sarah, so we know where she's gone, but her Hull FC are not in the top 3 of the voting here. And really, there's only 2 teams that people have gone for. But in third place in the voting with 7% of the votes is the Leeds Rhinos. And then we jump up to 36% of the votes for the second most popular choice, which was St Helens. With the most popular choice for winning the grand final this year, I'm delighted to say, is the Wigan Warriors with 38%. So it was a close run thing. There was multiple votes as well for Cass. They all came from Cass fans. Hull and Huddersfield also got multiple votes. No votes for Lee or Wakefield, which aren't, not a great surprise, no offence to those clubs. But also, no votes for Warrington, which makes me feel... that the Warrington fans are maybe taking a different approach this year, and maybe... going down there, if we pretend that we don't think it'll be our year, it might be our year.
It's a double bluff.
There you go. They don't want to put any pressure on the squad and the old chinless wonder in his final year at Warrington there. I must say Hull KR only got votes because of Tom Andrews' parody voting that occurred. So yeah, I think Tony Smith was one of the people who voted for Hull KR to win everything.
Might be Tony Smith.
But Alan, you went with the side that the most went with, so let's start with you.
Yes, and much like most of the fans, actually, I do think it's a bit of a 2-horse race, this one. Pretty much like last year, when you think about how clear they were in the league in terms of points. It was a real toss-up. I just think a 3-peat is an incredibly difficult thing to do. So just purely on that basis, I went for Wigan.
Fair enough. Sarah, we'll come to you next, because justify why you're one of the outliers here, thinking that your Hull FC side have got enough this year.
Because, new coach, obviously, revolutionised the world. We're going to win everything. We're not going to win everything because we're not going to win the Challenge Cup, but other than that, win everything. I don't know. If you don't have blind faith in your team at the start of the season, when do you have blind faith?
Exactly. No, I'm completely on board with that as an explanation. It's because I want it to happen.
I want us to be the first team outside the 4 to win.
Yeah, and I think everyone wouldn't be, the general Rugby League fan wouldn't be opposed to that happening as well, aside from outside of nowadays Wigan, Leeds and Saints lifting that grand final trophy, because Bradford are clearly some way off that. But Tim, you wouldn't want to see Hull FC be that side, so you've stumped for something a bit more predictable.
Yep, I went for Saints. I just think they have strengthened. I can see them doing it again, and it's funny when it's not Wigan.
If you start talking about sim bins that are nonsense in the grand final again when we lose to Saints in that grand final this year, but I do feel similarly with you, Tim, that it's going to be St Helens, and I kind of think they're probably going to beat Wigan in the grand final again. There's just something about this St Helens side having the wood over this Wigan side in those big matches that wasn't the case for sort of the 5 or so years, the 5 or so years before this one. So yeah, I've picked Saints through gritted teeth.
Liam Farrell red card in his final game.
No.
I mean, I picked
not going
Saints, Mark, because I picked Saints to win